So someone asked me to make an analysis of Prem Prayojan, who is a guru in the Narayan Maharaja group, and he was recently interviewed by the Namarasa folks, and he made different comments about his position in regards to Guru Tattva, the Guru Parampara from Krishna, and so on and so forth. What do I think about his position? First of all, he says that he was reading Prabhupada's Bhagavad Gita, and that is what inspired him to become a devotee. Okay, so he's reading Prabhupada's books, and that has inspired him to connect to Krishna, but no one else can do that, because Gaur Govinda Maharaj says that Sabda Brahman does not descend from books and tape. So you can't really connect to Krishna through books and audio tapes of Srila Prabhupada. But he did connect by the books. So this is the first problem we have with these people. They always make big contradictions in their statements. Yes, you can connect to Krishna through the books. No, you cannot connect to Krishna through the books. Well, what is it? And now they have the Gaur Govinda Vani Seva group. Well, Vani means the words of Gaur Govinda. So he says we can't listen to the words of a departed guru. He's a departed guru. We should listen to his words. Doesn't make any sense. But Srila Prabhupada never said that the Vani dissipates after the spiritual master departs. He never said anything like that. He said he would live eternally in his words, or Vani. There's no question of the Vani deteriorating or fading, which is a material idea. To say that the words of a pure devotee fade out after time is a material idea of the words of pure devotees. But Prabhu, you need to listen to the living person who can give you living advice. Okay, where do I sign up? Let's find a living person. Who is the living person? We're going to go seek shelter of, okay, it is Fakir Mohan, who is a disciple of Ananta Vasudeva. Ananta Vasudeva, Srila Prabhupada says he is the jackal of the Gaudiya Math. He says Ananta Vasudeva was a bisexual deviant. Ananta Vasudeva ran off to the Smartas and said nasty things about the Gaudiya Sampradaya. And people who dissented from Ananta Vasudeva after 1936, they were banned, they were beaten, they were exiled. They were sometimes killed. And this even became a publicity issue. Some of the beatings and murders of these dissenters from Ananta Vasudeva were beaten and killed, and this was in the newspaper. So how did this guy become the person we should follow? Fakir Mohan, who is part of a system of establishing illicit sex gurus where dissenters are beaten and killed. How is that a positive path forward or a positive example of how to do things in the Krishna religion? It's not a good example, and Prabhupada said many negative things about Ananta Vasudeva. Basically, he was a false guru, and we shouldn't emulate him and worship him and follow him or follow his followers or his system. But Gaur Govinda Maharaj was a big supporter of Fakir Mohan, and he was a big supporter of the GBC Guru program, and he was a big supporter of Narayan Maharaj, who was Tamal's bucket boy and confidential friend, and etc. So Gaur Govinda Maharaj was incorporating what I would call deviance into his system. And he told me, I met with him personally, and he said he has to cooperate, tolerate, and work with the GBC gurus. And he wrote a paper for the GBC, and I didn't realize this. His followers handed me a paper when I met Gaur Govinda called Guru Tattva. And as soon as I opened it up and started looking through it, I said, this looks like the 1988 GBC paper on Guru. And they said, it is. he wrote it for the GBC. So what did he write? He wrote, what happens when your guru is a demon? What do you do when your guru... You find out your guru is a demon? What's next? Oh, okay, well, but that begs the question, why is Gaur Govinda Maharaj promoting demons as gurus in the first place? You know, we have to figure out what to do when your guru is a demon. Okay, but you had no authority to establish demons as gurus from square one. You shouldn't be fixing a problem that you yourself created. You created the problem. You were drunk, you were driving your car, you went into the canal, and so now you have to read the manual on how to get cars out of the canal. Well, you had no authority to get drunk and drive your car into the canal in the first place. So Gaur Govinda is creating a problem, and then he is saving us from the problem he created. There's no authority in the Vedas to worship demons as gurus. That is not part of the Vedic process. No one is authorized to rubber stamp, enable, and authorize demons to be gurus. Okay, so we got to work with the demon guru crew. Oh, wait a minute, here's another person. We also have to work with Narayan Maharaj. Who is Narayan Maharaj? Well, he's Tamal's biggest defender. He used to say Tamal is the dear Tamal tree of Radharani. Tamal is the founder father of the illicit sex with men, women, and children, Guru Parampara. So we have to hang out with him, and we have to teach Rasika to the people who are creating homosexuals, pedophiles, and deviants as God's successor. That's the group that we need to associate with, and we need to talk about the gopis with the people who are making pedophiles into God's successors. That is going to fix everything. Well, I don't think so. But even B.V. Puri, he was given a book written by Satsvarup. Satsvarup was talking about the colors of the saris of the gopis. The gopis are the conjugal lovers of Krishna. And at the same time, Satsvarup was writing about his enemas and his constipation and his passing stool. And B.B. Puri held that book over his head, and he said, this is worse than any sahajas. Even the sahajas would never write about the gopis and passing stool in the same book. So this is the situation that Narayan Maharaj has created. Now, one thing is, I was in Texas helping to have Tamal sued for mass child molesting, and this was my second time in Texas. I already had Tamal sued previously in 1986 for child abuse. He lost that case. So he lost, we don't know, 300,000 or 3 million, nobody knows. Different figures have been thrown around, but he lost a substantial amount of money in the 1986 case. So I'm back again, same problem. Children are being molested, children are being beaten up, children are being abused, and I'm in Texas having Tamal sued. And Narayan Maharaj is also in Texas, and he's yelling and shouting and screaming and even actually spitting on my associates. My associates go there, try to tell him that Tamal is not an authorized successor to Krishna. And Narayan Maharaj just was not having it. He was angry. Now later on, Narayan Maharaj, by chance, comes to L.A. I'm in L.A. I see him on the beach. He says, hey, there's Prajojan. Let's get him to come over to our ashram. We want to talk to Prajojan. I'm just here to talk to the old Prabhupada devotees, and Prajojan is one of them. Let's bring him over to Fullerton. So I got to drive all the way to Fullerton. He cancels the 8:30 meeting, cancels the 10:30 meeting, cancels the 2:30 meeting. 5:30, Jadurani comes out and says, well, he's gone. He left the property. He's not here. Yeah, he didn't want to talk to you. Now, one of the issues at the time was the poison issue. I had come out with a tape where Prabhupada says he is being poisoned. I had a copy of that tape with me. He was saying I'm a rascal for saying Prabhupada was poisoned, but I'm just quoting what Prabhupada himself says on his own tape, in his own words. But Narayan Maharaj had no interest in any of that. So he was not interested in me going after the child molesting issue, the poison issue. I'm not even sure if he was aware of the book changes issue, but I was also challenging that. He wanted nothing to do with me. He said this guy is a deviant, this guy is a rascal, he's a bogus Ritvik, he is trying to destroy the parampara, he's not promoting Tumal and all my homosexual pedophile pals in the GBC who are getting Rasika, and we're talking about the colors of the saris of the gopis, while these guys are orchestrating banning, beating, molesting, lawsuits, and murders. Yeah, that's quite Rasika right there. So, you guys don't know what Rasika is. Rasa means a pure exchange with God. These people are not qualified to hear about Rasika. When their rasa is illicit sex with men, women, and children, drinking vodka, shooting guns at occupied buildings, and all the rest of the crap and garbage that goes on with Narayan Maharaja's circle of guru friends. You know, they're deviating. So Narayan Maharaj does not understand Guru Tattva. The Guru has to be a pure devotee. People who are deviating are not gurus. Narayan Maharaj was helping Satsarup write the Guru Reform Notebook in 1984 already. Satsarup was boasting how Narayan Maharaj was helping write this book, the Guru Reform Notebook. Okay, but guess what? Gurus don't need to be reformed. You don't send the Guru to reform school or prison because the Guru is a criminal. He needs to be repaired. No, you don't repair a guru. The guru repairs the human society. The guru is in contact with God. You don't repair things that are in contact with God. That's not your capability. But Narayan Maharaj says, oh, they're in contact with God, but they're defective, so never mind, I'll fix it. That would make Narayan Maharaj superior to God. He's got to fix what God cannot do properly. No, there's no such thing as a guru reform. This is all made up nonsense. But notice that Prem Prayojan doesn't understand any of this stuff. He doesn't understand. God is pure. God's successor is pure. God's successor isn't falling down, deviating into illicit sex with men, women, and children. He's not orchestrating, banning, beating, molesting, lawsuits, and murders. That's not the pastimes of Krishna and his pure devotees. Sorry, that's just not what happens. So he hasn't understood any of this. But what do you expect when Gaur Govinda Maharaj says our gurus are becoming demons? Well, there you go. That means you didn't study who they were in the first place. If your gurus are becoming demons, you did not make sure they were qualified from square one. You sold people a bad product. You sold people a used car. The used car blew up as soon as it drove off the lot because you didn't check out the used car. You didn't make sure it was drive-worthy and drivable. You just send people off in your demon guru car and they crash and have all these problems. And that's why Bhakti Vikas Swami says our gurus are crashing like jumbo jets. Yeah, when a jumbo jet crashes, many people, hundreds of people, suffer, burn up, die, all that stuff. It's horrible. And they're crashing like jumbo jets. Okay, so Narayan Maharaj is putting all these hundreds of people into a jumbo jet that's going to crash. So how is that helping human society? You're putting the human beings into a dangerous vehicle which is liable to harm them, if not kill them, and for sure kill them spiritually. They won't be able to make progress worshipping Narayan Maharaj's demon gurus and Gaur Govinda Maharaj's demon gurus, and Fakir Mohan, who is a disciple of a demon guru. So you can't have demon and guru mixed together. This doesn't work. So in 1986, Gaur Govinda Maharaj is voted in to the GBC's Guru Sampradaya, and at the same exact time, that is when they reinstated Bhavananda as Vishnu Pad. And Bhavananda was having oral sex with taxi drivers in the holy dham. And this was known to the leaders, like Yasomati Nandan. Yasomati Nandan says, we have given Lord Chaitanya the gift of a faggot guru for his 500th anniversary. So this was known that Gaur Govinda Maharaj was being voted in to the GBC's guru system, which was very, very, very defective. I mean, oral sex with taxi drivers? What is that? You know, This guy wouldn't be qualified to be the guy who takes the collection plate around in the church. Somebody who's having oral sex with taxi drivers is not qualified to have even a menial position in the church. They keep that guy away from having any post of authority because he's highly, highly contaminated. So they find the most contaminated person they can find and make him Vishnupad. Vishnupad is a name that is only given to Krishna's pure devotees. Vishnu is the name of God. Vishnupad. Pad is the feet of Krishna, or someone who represents the feet of Krishna. You don't just throw these titles around willy-nilly. But Govinda Maharaj does that. All these people have all these bogus title, and he is enabling that, facilitating that, going along with that. And he told me I have to cooperate, tolerate, and work with these people. I cannot leave ISKCON. That's what he told me. Well, that is not ISKCON. Worshipping oral sex with taxi drivers in the Holy Dham is not ISKCON. Hello, do you know what ISKCON is? ISKCON is the spiritual world. Oral sex with taxi drivers does not happen in the spiritual world. Hello? Does any of you guys know any of this stuff? Well, let me tell you, the average guy walking down the street already knows this stuff. Any guy walking down the street knows a person who is engaged in oral sex with taxi drivers is not qualified to be worshipped as God's successor, as Vishnupad, and so on and so forth. This is common, basic moral platform. But when you've got child molesting going on, left, right, and center, children are being beaten up, starved, deprived of medical supplies, deprived of soap, deprived of shoes, while all these guys are living like Saudi princes in an opulent situation, well, what do you expect is going to happen to those children? They're not going to be interested in becoming devotees. You're going to destroy their spiritual life. So you're pushing down these children to push up your sex with taxi drivers Vishnupad program. So you're messing up the lives of children. Well, now everybody just acts like nothing happened, like they had no connection to that. No, Gaur Govinda was a huge part of that. He was right there in Bhubaneswar, right near Mayapur. He was either very aware of what was going on there, or he was dumb as a bag of rocks. How could he not know what's going on right on his own doorstep? When we knew about it, all the way across the Pacific Ocean over here, we knew child molesting was going on. Then Prem Prayojan says, we need to make sure everybody's getting prasadam, and we're distributing books, and we're preaching. Well, he doesn't even know what prasadam is. Prasadam is food that's offered to a pure devotee. You don't offer food to conditioned souls. But Narayan Maharaj supported that whole process of offering food to these GBC leaders. So that is not prasadam. So they don't know what prasadam is. They don't know what books are because the books are being changed. The books are being rewritten. And many of these gurus are just making their own books, like Shiva Ram. Shiva Ram was a big supporter of the whole Narayan Maharaj program. And he goes to a Rath Yatra and he's got a big book table with only his books. There's no Prabhupada books on his table. So they're promoting all these writings of all these crackpot people, like Satsvarup. Satsvarup is popping pills, he's living at Howard Johnson Motel, he's watching football on TV, and he's writing about the gopis. I mean, really? And his books are being distributed all over ISKCON. And Narayan Maharaj doesn't realize that's a problem. And Gaur Govinda doesn't know that's a problem. And Fakir Mohan doesn't know anything about any of this stuff. He's way out in left field. So you can't just have all this stuff going on and claim that this is Guru Tattva. That's not Guru Tattva. Guru Tattva means you offer the bhoga to the pure devotee. That is the process of worshiping the Guru. You don't offer to conditioned souls. Conditioned souls also cannot absorb sins. That's also a deviation. And if they absorb sins, they will suffer. And Narayan Maharaj got cancer and he suffered. Now Gaur Govinda Maharaj, they say his departure was very glorious. Well, some of his followers wrote immediately after his departure and said, we think he was given some toxic material by the GBC. They were trying to get rid of him. So what kind of a guru circle is that? So Gorgovinda was fighting with the GBC at the end because he was saying that Prabhupada's idea that we originate in Krishna's Leela is a bogus idea. Prabhupada is preaching the wrong idea. He's not following Shastra, because the Shastra that Gorgovinda believes in is very similar to the Catholic Church. Gorgovinda believes some souls start with God, some souls do not start with God, because God is pre-selecting who is going to be with him and who is not going to be with him. And so the fall of the soul is because God made a mistake. God did not put you in the spiritual world with him. He put you in the refuse can. So God causes your fall down. So it's a little bit like God has an assembly line of babies, and he's taking one baby and tossing him into his world with him, and he's taking other babies and putting them in a trash can, and that's how God does things. No, that is not how God does things. But this all started way back in 1971 when some of the God brothers said Prabhupada's idea of back to Godhead is bogus because we were never with Godhead. And Prabhupada said they do not understand we were once with God because they are tinged with Mayavada. So this idea that we were never with Krishna, it is a Mayavada teaching. But it's no surprise when you consider that these are the same people who say that gurus are demons or become demons, and so on and so forth. I mean, they have no understanding of Guru Tattva, Jiva Tattva, or any Tattva. Now, the good news is they're now saying we don't have a diksha guru line mainly, we have a shiksha guru line mainly, which is what we said the whole time. We said that the neophyte devotees should take the post of preachers or ritviks or priests, and the neophyte devotees should not artificially try to take the post of a realized diksha guru. So now they're saying, oh, we have mainly a shiksha line, which means we, the ritviks, were right the whole time. Yeah, it's mostly shiksha. We should give shiksha, we should give instruction on behalf of the acharya. We shouldn't pose as artificial diksha gurus. And we shouldn't get voted into homosexual and pedophile guru programs. And we shouldn't be cheerleaders of that program like Narayan Maharaja, hanging out with Tamal and all the rest of it. And let's not forget, Tamal is one of the prime suspects in the poisoning of Prabhupada. He's not a person we should be promoting and propping up as Krishna's successor. And anyone who does that is basically promoting Judas as a pure devotee. Judas and the Roman soldiers who killed Jesus are pure devotees. I do not think so. Anyone who has been doing that is in a very severe illusion. Severe illusion. So in sum, all of this is illusion. Their whole idea that conditioned souls are gurus or were gurus or could have been gurus is false. And the result of their promoting conditioned souls as gurus has been a disaster, starting with promoting false gurus in 1936. This was a mistake then, and it is a mistake now, and we shouldn't be going back to that process, which we know creates chaos. But anyway, it's good. Let's have a Shiksha Guru line. Let's be Ritviks. Let's be representatives of the Acharya. Let's not have a bunch of people claiming to be Acharyas. Now, in addition to that, there's been some problems with some of the quote-unquote guru successors to Narayan Maharaj, which are very similar to the same problems we had in ISKCON. So they're just recycling the same problem over and over again. Conditioned souls are gurus. No, they are not gurus, and we should just be representatives of the guru, and that is what Prabhupada wanted us to do, and they're finally, through the back door admitting that that is the correct process. Prem Prayojan is not a pure devotee, acharya. He's a representative. That means he's a ritvik. So let's follow that path. Let's get back to the original idea that conditioned souls cannot be diksha gurus. That is what Prabhupada said over and over again, and I'm glad that idea is gradually coming back. Meanwhile, Prem Prayojan should be very careful not to claim to be a diksha guru who is taking other people's sins, because Prabhupada says you will take those sins with you. And one of the results is a guru took the sins of his followers without being qualified, and the followers went to Yamaraj, and they were very angry, and so Yamaraj made the guru into a snake, and he made the disciples into ants, and the guru went over an anthill, and he was eaten alive by the ants. That is a result of taking karma without authority. Very dangerous, and for Narayan Maharaj and Sridhar Maharaj and Gorgovinda Maharaj and all these people to tell conditioned souls who take sins, knowing that it can result in them them taking future birth as a snake, and their disciples will be ants, and they'll be eaten alive, shows they don't have any real discrimination. They don't understand what is right, what is wrong, what is good, what is bad, what is Shastra, what is not Shastra, and so on. So Prem Prayojan was at one time a sannyasi in the Narayan Maharaja sannyasi clique. He fell down and became a householder, and some of the other sannyasis now in that Narayan sannyasi group, they really don't like Prem Prayojan. They think he's bogus because he's a householder. So there's friction and competition going on amongst their so-called guru group. And some of them openly criticize each other, and so on and so forth. So they're conditioned souls, and they're envious of each other, fighting amongst each other, same type thing which is going on in ISKCON. That means they're not pure devotees, and it's a big mistake to say they are pure devotees. Anyway, I hope this helps. Hari Hari Bol.